Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the channel. It's your boy, World of Wrestling. I know I'm several days late to do this Smackdown review, but I am going to go ahead and do it for March 17th, 2023 review for WWE. Smackdown this past Friday was actually a really good show. I actually enjoyed it. A lot of good storytelling took place in the episode, and I was actually rather happy about it. There was some good wrestling on this show, especially the last match that took place on the show, which was Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, which I'll get into. That was a really good matchup, actually. It was the match of the night. The promo by Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes to kickstart the show is good. The backstage that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had was excellent. Excellent stuff. The whole surrounding on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn this past Friday was right on point. What needed to happen for this show to go over well, to give us the interest to want to see the tag team titles in the main event of night one. That's just the way I see it. And after what they did tonight, or this past Friday, I should say, that was an excellent job by WWE and their creative team of booking this the way they did. They have two shows that they can build these storylines on. They might as well take advantage of it, because apparently they are sure as hell not going ahead and respecting the brand split anyway, so might as well just allow everybody to go on both shows until after WrestleMania, and then get a actual draft and make everything official again the way it should be. So that's the way I see how they're gonna fix all that. Anyway, getting to it. 2023 Men's Royal Rumble winner Cody Rhodes made his way to the ring to cut a promo. Rhodes asked Kansas City what they wanted to talk about, but stated that he respects the undisputed champion, Roman Reigns, before saying that he was looking forward to beating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. They really need to stop with the respect bullshit. This is not about respect. This is about winning a world championship. He ain't going to be respectful. He's not going to play clean and fair. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. Cody needs to have the mentality that I don't give a flying fuck what I got to do. I'm beating this son of a bitch and taking those two titles from him to be the new world champion. That's the way he should be looking at it. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they ain't looking at the bloodline as respect or anything. Their mindset is to take them down. Cody Rhodes is not doing that, having that same mentality. He's talking about how he respects Roman Reigns, and there shouldn't be any respect being talked about here, because Roman Reigns has no respect for Cody Rhodes at all. He needs to worry about beating Roman Reigns and just winning the championship. So, before addressing Reigns, Cody called out Kevin Owens of all people, and Owens made his way to the ring and got a microphone. Owens said that he had an idea of where this was going, but Rhodes said that this was a conversation to be had between three instead of two. Rhodes called out Sami Zayn to moderate the two to have a chat. Zayn, Rhodes, and Owens stood in a ring before Rhodes revealed why he had the two in the ring. He wanted Zayn and Kevin Owens to reconcile. He stated that when he was released by WWE back in 2016, Owens was there to help him out and join with some friends of his elsewhere, alluding to the Elite. As the crowd chanted for them to hug it out, Zayn said that he had not heard everything Owens had to say about him and wanted to hear him out as to why their reconciling has been difficult this time and told him everything he needed to do so that they can work together again. Owens asked Rhodes if he heard what he wanted to hear, but Rhodes responded that they were in the people-pleasing business and the fans wanted to see them reunite. Owens responded that he did not want to work with someone who did not care of being his friend before walking out the ramp. So Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn's basically in the promo was saying, hey man, I don't care if we're friends or not. We just need to work together as a team to overcome the bloodline. And that upset Kevin Owens. So all this time, he basically was wanting to hear Sami Zayn say, hey, look, I want us to be friends and take these fuckers down and be like family, basically. And he was not getting that. And Kevin Owens did not really point that out there when they initially started talking about this after the Elimination Chamber, which is a little funny if you think about it, because at the time, Kevin Owens didn't really allude to that idea. He more alluded to the idea that he has nothing to do with Sami Zayn because of what he did to him at the Royal Rumble, allowing them to beat the living shit out of him, till finally he stood up and did something, but it was too little too late. So I'm not sure how the hell to take this, but at least they got to a point where these two are going to eventually become allies once again and become good friends. Kevin Owens was in the parking lot heading to his car before Zayn confronted him backstage. Zayn told him that they were brothers and that if he did want to talk to him, he understood, but wanted to let him know that he loved him. Owens was bamboozled by this and drove out of the arena. And that was pretty much that. Legado del Fantasma, Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega going up against Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. This matchup was pretty decent. I didn't mind the match, but the Rhea Ripley and Zelina Vega situation was pretty much a wash. I mean, you really wasn't going to get a fair fight between these two ladies, and Rhea Ripley is the one who actually pins Zelina Vega with the Riptide finishing maneuver. After the match, Dominic continued to state that Rey Mysterio was nothing more than a deadbeat dad. Mysterio walked down the ramp to confront Dominic before the commercial break. So after the commercial break, Rey Mysterio confronted Dominic and Rhea Ripley in the ring. Dominic continued to say he went too many nights without a father, which led to Rey requesting Ripley to leave them alone. Dominic called Rey a scared and sad excuse of a father before being about to call him a piece of shit, but Rey interrupted him and admitted that he may not have been the best father in the world and acknowledged his mistakes, but admitted that it did not stop him from loving Dominic. Rey said that Dominic will learn the business is selfish and that the Mysterio last name bailed him out. Rey said that he would have loved nothing more than having Dominic next to him in the Hall of Fame, but Rey said his biggest regret was seeing what Dominic had become, a punk-ass kid calling him out. Rey said that if it was anyone else, he would have gladly whipped their ass, but because Dominic was his son, he states that fighting him would be the biggest disgrace as a father before saying it was not worth it. Rey said that he would not fight Dominic at WrestleMania or ever, but Dominic asked if it was because he was running away as always. My thoughts on this, there's some good to this and there's some bad to this. I like the fact that Rey Mysterio is acting the way he is. He's trying to restrain himself from exploding and really just going ahead and wanting to whip the shit out of his own flesh and blood, despite the fact his son's acting like an asshole. What makes no sense to me is the fact that he keeps going into the situation that he was mistreated by his father. His father did not raise him good. He did not get enough time with his dad because of what the business has done. I don't agree with this. I think the idea of him bitching about what kind of car he got compared to what his friends got was a little idiotic. I mean, we're talking about all kinds of spoiled bullshit that makes absolutely no sense for him to be doing all of what he's doing, honestly. I mean, granted, he is being self-entitled, which would make a little sense to why he's acting the way he is. But at the same time, if you think about it, he wasn't acting this way originally when he came into the WWE. Personally, he should be looking at it in the sense like, you don't think I'm good enough to be in this business. You don't think I have what it takes. That's why you keep me by your side. You hover over me like a shadow of a... And they were mentioning this when they originally started the storyline, that he is a shadow over his son, even though he's smaller than his son. So, in all honesty, the request of his father punching him in the face and all these things and antagonizing him made sense. But when he talks about how his dad did not treat him like a good father, that makes no fucking sense at all. It really does not make sense to me at all for them to be using that kind of lingo, in this storyline. We should be seeing Dominic Mysterio looking for proof that he is good enough and he doesn't have to live in his father's shadow anymore. That's what this focal point should be all about. The focus should be on about, is Dominic Mysterio good enough to beat his old man in a match? Is he good enough to do it? Is he a great wrestler? Does he got what it takes to be the absolute best that he can be in this sport? And we ain't getting any of those kinds of those comments being made. This is about how he was raised. I disagree with that, but I do like the work that they're doing with Dominic Mysterio, with the restraints and all that shit. But the self-entitlement bullshit, it wasn't there. When it originally started back in 2022 in September, he was upset with his dad for picking Edge over his own flesh and blood. That's what he was mad about. Which should make him feel like, hey, do you feel like I'm a weak link? Do you feel like I'm not capable enough of handling my business in the ring? What's your fucking deal, Dad? That is what they should be going based off of that alone. So we should be seeing Dominic Mysterio wanting to prove he is good enough, and by beating his old man, that's the right step. That's the step in the right direction for him going into the future in his career. I don't understand why that's not being direct in the storyline. Instead, we're talking about how Rey Mysterio is a deadbeat dad. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. Just my viewpoint. Anyway, we had a WrestleMania showcase match where we're going to have fatal 4-way tag team action with the women, and apparently we're going to have it with the men too. Don't know why. The women's tag team titles are not on the line. It has nothing to do with the championships. So why are we getting a fatal 4-way match? I don't know. Maybe this is a Vince McMahon booking idea. More than likely it is. But Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan win the match. Didn't really care for this at all. The SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair came to the ring to cut a promo with her pointing out that she was coming as the champion while Cody Rhodes was coming in as the challenger, similar to their fathers. Flair then said that Rhea Ripley could not go through her because the more things change, the more they stay the same. Ripley and Dominic Mysterio interrupted Flair and said that Flair was right because she chose Flair. Ripley then said that everyone walked away from her in fear because she is dangerous. But Flair was the exception because she stared at Rhea Ripley without an inch of fear, which pissed Ripley off. Ripley said that she needed the SmackDown Women's Championship and that she would make Flair learn to fear Ripley at WrestleMania. Ripley clubbed her in the face, which led to Flair and Rhea Ripley brawling to the outside before referees came to split them up. Okay. This is a little bit of an improvement, but still, this is nothing. It's all based on what happened in 2020. That's all. It's strictly a filler match mid-portion through the show, either night 1, night 2, it don't matter, whichever you prefer to put it on, it don't make a difference, because personally, it's not a main event match for night 1. I'm sorry, there's just not enough story for this to be utilized for a main event. So, it's good little mid-portion of the show, like third or fourth match on the pay-per-view on night 1 or night 2, but it is not main event quality. I wouldn't even put this as the opener to a show. Honestly, I really wouldn't. Because there's really nothing to the story. I mean, granted, we should get a good match. We saw it the first time. I don't see why we can't see it again. But still, there's nothing here to really move it to a main event spot on night 1. But it has a little bit of improvement, I will say that. But other than that, nothing special. Sami Zayn was interviewed backstage by Kayla Braxton, saying that it was time to pull up on Jey Uso ahead of their segment later in the night. That's pretty much all that took place. Xavier Woods and LA Knight. LA Knight looks like a fucking bum going into WrestleMania. He's lost 3 matches in a row from what I've seen. He has been terrible coming out of the Royal Rumble of this year after Bray Wyatt match. He's been shit. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know if you could say this is a burial or not. But all he keeps doing is losing to everybody. Lost to Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Cody Rhodes, and pretty much anybody that he wrestles up against every single night. At least from what I've seen or heard. He has not been doing well, and I'm very upset about that because I think LA Knight's a great talent, very good on the mic, and he's a good, decent wrestler in the ring. So I don't know what the fucking deal is about what they're doing with him, but they're making him look really bad, and he keeps losing to everybody, which makes no fucking sense to me. So there was a brief recap on the induction of the Great Muta being inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame of 2023. LA Knight walked around backstage before Kayla Braxton tried to get an interview, but instead Knight confronted Rey Mysterio and told him that he would beat Dominic and call himself LA Mysterio to be a deadbeat. But Rey responded with a slap before saying, "No meretes, don't mess with me, asshole." So Rey Mysterio was basically saying, "Don't mess with me, asshole." So it was announced later on in the night that we will see Rey Mysterio and LA Knight next week on Smackdown in a one-on-one match. This can only lead to one thing. LA Knight loses, Rey Mysterio wins. LA Knight suffers another loss under his belt. Don't know why they see this as a beneficial thing, but hey, what do I know? I'm just some guy behind a microphone talking to you guys in audio format. But hey, whatever. Main event, it was Sheamus and Drew McIntyre one-on-one. Again, like I said, this was the best match on the entire show and the last match on the show. This is to determine the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship at the WrestleMania pay-per-view against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. This ended up being a no contest because both members of Imperium beat the shit out of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. By the end of this matchup, they went ahead and did a bro kick and a Claymore kick at the same time and connected. They both laid out. This is old school type spot here. They could have easily had the referee count to 10 because neither guy could respond, and then Adam Pearce could have came in there and said, look, you know what, we couldn't find a winner here nor last week, so what we're going to do is we're just going to have to defend the title against both guys. And instead, they have Imperium members that Gunther runs around with beat the shit out of these two guys, and it leads to a no contest, disqualification, whatever you want to call it. Adam Pearce announces that the match will be a triple threat match instead of a one-on-one match. So now we got Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther for the IC Championship, which is good because that leads to Sheamus defeating Drew McIntyre for the IC Championship, pinning him 1, 2, 3, and we move Gunther on to the next step in his career, and he doesn't have to worry about being pinned at all during the match. Perfect move. So, Sami Zayn confronted Jey Uso in the ring and asked Jey how he wanted to handle the situation. Jey Uso told him that from day one, he did not like or trust Zayn, but was surprised that Reigns, Heyman, and Solo Sikoa and Jimmy gained his trust. Jey said that he was thought to protect his family and that Zayn made him look like a fool. Jey told him that he had no choice but Zayn refuted. Excuse me, let me repeat that. Jey told him he had no choice, but Zayn refuted that he always had a choice to betray the bloodline, and that Jey was mad he did not betray Reigns before Zayn. The two exchanged punches before Zayn hit the Thez Press, but Jimmy Uso attacked Zayn from behind, and Jey and Jimmy slammed the chairs on Zayn. But Kevin Owens made the return to the arena and made the save for Zayn. Owens hit lariats on Jey and Jimmy before raining the punches on Jimmy and Jey. Owens tossed Jimmy out of the ring before hitting him with a stunner and hitting a pop-up powerbomb on Jey. Owens and Zayn were in the center of the ring, and they stared at each other before Zayn and Owens finally hugged it out, and Owens and Zayn stood triumphant in the ring to end the broadcast. And that's pretty much it. That was a great way to end the show. Jey Uso during this promo, man, he was fucking awesome. He really was. He had a lot of intensity. He seemed like he was very interested in Zayn still. He wanted to stay and remain friends with him, but because what he did with his family by turning on Roman Reigns, he's like, but you left me no choice but to do what I did. You think I really wanted to? You walked out on us, man. So there was a lot of emotion going on. I had goosebumps when I actually watched this segment to close out the show. I thought it was excellent. So personally, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If we do not see the bloodline, disintegrate and go away after WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is retaining the championship. But if they're going to go in a direction where the bloodline doesn't continue beyond WrestleMania, then what's going to happen is Jey Uso, after he loses the tag team titles with Jimmy against the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, we are going to see Jey Uso go ahead and turn on Roman Reigns and cost him the WWE Championship and Universal Championship belts. And that's how Cody Rhodes is going to become the new world champion. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Kind of overplays the moment for Cody Rhodes, but I don't think that is the main focal point anymore. I don't think people care about that. The moment for Cody Rhodes to win the championship. It's more along the lines of the story playing out the proper way that it's supposed to. Because at the end of the day, if you really think about it, we're reverting all the way back to 2020, where Jey Uso was the first victim on Roman Reigns' hit list. Then he got him convinced to join with him. And then after that, he got Jimmy. When Jimmy initially started, he didn't want nothing to do with Roman because he thought he was a fucking asshole. So he had nothing to do with him personally. But all that shit changed as time went on and everyone became a family. So it's all being worked in a sense that we are being conformed back to the original place that we started at in 2020, that Roman Reigns is using all of his family members, which is very obvious anyway. But he does play a care to his family at the same time, but he uses his family to keep him at the top. So there's a little give and take here, but at the same time, it's like he doesn't give his other family members a chance to shine within the group. Sami Zayn had that kind of moment, but he wasn't willing to beat the living crap out of his best friend Kevin Owens to prove that. So he had to get cut out of the mix. And that's pretty much what has gone on here between Survivor Series all the way up to now. So that is pretty much the review, guys. I think the storyline is very compelling with the bloodline, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Cody. I think that the Intercontinental Championship match has got a good story going on there. I think the main focal point is actually Drew McIntyre and Sheamus butting heads and seeming to become more like enemies than friends. So that is taking place in that storyline. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, excellent stuff. I'm not going to say it's trash 100%, but they could have gone on a different focal point for the storyline to get them to want to wrestle each other at WrestleMania. And Rey Mysterio is still backing off from it, even though he continuously pushes him to do so. So there's a lot of good stuff taking place on the show. I think the Fatal 4-Way tag team wrestling is a little stupid. I don't think that's even necessary to be on this damn show. But hey, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you guys. But anyway, that is all I have to say at this time, guys. I appreciate you coming here, listening to this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.